Alright, so we're back to working on this. We had to take a break. Last time we were working on it, Aiden and I were going to put the bearings in. I ended up putting in a couple more of the bearings, and then I got to this final bearing here and realized that I had made a mistake. This is the output shaft bearing. The sprocket goes on the shaft out here. And this particular bearing has, it's a sealed bearing. And what I did inadvertently was I thought for some reason that only one side was shielded on that bearing and that had a seal on it and that they left the other side open. But then I realized when we went to put it back together that no, there's a seal that goes in here that I took out. And the bearing is actually on the other side of the seal. So the bearing goes inside here and then the seal goes in. So there's no way for any of the oil in this part of the transmission to get into that bearing. So that bearing by design has to be a sealed bearing with grease already in it. But because I had already taken the seal out on that bearing, I had to order another one. So my fault there. So now I've got the new bearing, and this bearing presses in from this side, and then the shaft slides in through it, and then the seal has to go on.
How do you press it in?
Well, since it's down inside here, the easiest way to do this is probably, we might have to make, unfortunately, we might have to make a tool to push this in, because this is a tricky one. It's such a deep well that goes into, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the problem is, and plus the way this is made right here, this is going to interfere. So we need something that is like exactly the diameter of the outside of this bearing.
Here's your pieces
so that we end up pushing on this outer part right here, but it's got to be small enough to go into that hole. So that's what's going to be tricky. So I'm going to put this like this onto here and put this extra spacer on this side. And then hopefully this will sit. Don't worry about that. Sit under that head of that thing. Right? Alright, yeah, but we're going to come out this way.
Lift it up. There. Oh, it's on the edge of the... We need to rotate this.
Alright, now move that back out. Can we bring it out even further?
Yeah.
Alright, that's
probably gonna work right there.
that looks about right.
Yeah.
Alright, so we've got to get the bearing in there.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Kinda good.
Kinda good. Oh, that thing's moving.
Yeah, it wasn't in all the way.
There we go. Huh.
I think that's it, because there's a piece at the back of it.
Yeah, I know. Well, we want to make sure we're all up against that. You think it's already in there?
Yeah. We can flip it over to this.
Yeah, we'll have to look. Just get this. Which way you want to flip it? Oh no, that's gonna turn it upside down. I don't want oil to run out of the. There's still. I didn't fill it up, but I did put some oil in there.
Yeah, that's.
Yep, that looks good.
Yeah.
All right, great. Slide too far back. I don't want it falling off the back of the bench. It's one of my projects that I haven't gotten to, is making a dedicated stand for that, so that it.
You use a stand.
That's what those cast iron legs I was thinking of using. Once I had to pull out. We'll decide what we want to do next. I could either push the seal in now and then slide the shaft through here and through the seal.
Where do you think it's better? Where's the shaft right there?
That's the drive shaft from this side.
Is this bearing good?
Yeah, that's a new one on there. I already put it on. I put this in the drawer for safekeeping and did such a good job.
Safe keeping it.
Yeah. Keeping it safe, like we couldn't find it. So anyways. So this shaft, I'm almost positive it goes in from this direction. And then what happens is this spacer goes on from the outside, and then this goes on and gets tightened on, and that's what actually tightens it into the, right? So that being said, then the seal has to go in, because this is going to ride here.
Doesn't matter which way it faces.
Well, no, actually the seal doesn't have to go in now, because this could actually go. This could actually go on afterwards. Yeah, it definitely makes a difference which way it faces. You want the cup side, this hollowed out side, you want that facing the oil that it's keeping in. So in other words, this is going to be where the oil's going to be. So this has to face. So in other words, when you look at like on the outside of an engine or whatever, or like if you look at where the Kickstarter shaft is, or the shifting lever shaft on any of those motorcycles, if you look at the seal, you'll see this side of the seal. We'll just put some oil on there to lubricate it. So I think we could put this seal in now. We could use this one right here because we're not going to have a shaft in the way, so we could just put this on because this is going to go flush. Okay. See that little opening right there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's open to the outside right here. I don't know what purpose that serves, oddly enough. It's like a little weep hole. I guess if you see oil dripping out of here, that tells you that the seal is bad. Doesn't really make much sense, but then again. All right, slide that back over here. We'll use it to push this seal in. Might as well. We've got it at our disposal.
Where's that washer?
I put it away. Here, hold this. Grab the washer we used for a spacer. I don't know if this is the exact one, but it'll work. Right about there. That's level. I don't think it's in, is it? Not all the way. See how it's got a lip still sticking up?
Yeah.
Alright, so. I wonder if that's hitting. See, that's hitting that. That's what's happening. It was hitting this. Up a little bit. That's it. That should be. There we go. That feels good.
Maybe we can move this.
Why? What's the matter? Getting heavy?
Yeah.
It's still not in all the way. That's okay. We could tap it down the rest of the way. Take it off of there. Put it right on the bench. No. Put this on the bench. No.
I know, I'm just putting it down so I can get better. Here you go. Yeah. Good?
Yep, that feels good. Alright, so now we'll put a little bit of oil or grease on this right here so that the we don't damage the lip on the seal when we're putting this in. So what I'm going to do is just turn this as I push it in. That'll help it go through the seal without damaging it. Now this spacer goes on this side.
It's so it doesn't hit that. I got it now.
Yeah, well, actually, what it also does is it kind of there's a sandwiching effect, and it actually clamps onto the inner part of that bearing. Because you see, this isn't pressed into the center of the bearing. It's not pressed into the center of the bearing. It's just a slip fit. So we don't want the shaft to be able to spin in that inner part of the bearing. We want it to spin the inner part of the bearing in the bearing. You follow me?
Yeah. How are we going to tighten it?
Well, I don't remember how did I do it last time. What did I hold this with last time? I think that's what all these marks are on here. I held it with a wrench and it was slipping a little bit, but we were able to get it tightened. Okay, so now,
Feels much better.
yeah, doesn't sound like right?
Now we need to get this stuff.
Yeah, the gears. Okay, so this gear has to go in first. Like that. A little bit of noise in there, but once the oil's in there, it will quiet right down. And then this gear goes on here like this. And if I recall correctly, I think the number was facing out. Well, I think we figured out it probably didn't make a difference. All right, and then that leaves this shaft, which this gear and let's see, where's the cover? Is this a slip fit into this one? So see, there's that other seal.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to want to put some oil on here to protect that. Seal runs in this area right here. That's why it's so polished. So that's going to have to be pressed into there.
Yeah.
So looks like we jumped the gun. Should have pressed this in before we went any further. Let's see. With a little luck, maybe this will be the same. Nope, that's going to be a different size. See, the problem is we need something that's going to go over this.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So that doesn't... I thought when we took this bearing out, it went right to meet that other piece.
What do you mean?
It went to right to meet this.
You think this was pressed down onto there?
Yeah.
So you're thinking this bearing's not on far enough yet?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe I didn't press this in yet. Maybe I just slipped it on here loose to keep it from getting misplaced. I don't know. Aiden, that's pretty tight. Well, what we could do is we could put this in like this, because we know this goes in here. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And now we can look at how high this is above. So this bearing and this bearing are like at the same level.
Mm-hmm.
And this bearing goes on here. So
it
I
is
think
not.
you're right. That's got to go down further. So that's not pressed on there all the way. Wonder why I didn't finish putting that on. So you think that was right up against that?
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
Why?
It'll be really tough to get that off. If not, because when it's up against that, there'll be no way to push against the back of it. So now, if we're lucky, we've got one of these that'll be the perfect size. That'll support.
That was too big. That was too small last time. I used this one.
Yeah, but you see what the problem is with this one? All this one does is support the outer cage. We need to support that. So we're going to need something. Oh, here we go.
Can I do it?
Yeah, gently.
That's easy.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a big press. There's a lot of force being exerted on there.
That's good?
Yep, that looks good. Can't see it from my house.
You're in your house. Or, yeah.
All right.
Just a cut. And then we have to press the other, that into there.
Right.
So how are we going to do that?
Well, that's going to be the tricky part.
We can...
Might have to make a sleeve. So what we need is we need something to go down over that. Well, you know what? I might have a socket that can do that. Oh, I don't know. It's going to be not going to be tall enough, I don't think. Well, let me check. All right, so this random piece of metal that I have here actually looks like the outside diameter of it's going to be the a good size to use as a pusher to get that bearing in. But the problem is this smaller diameter in here. This isn't full thickness all the way through. It's just a thin walled piece right here. So I just got to get that out of there. So I got a drill bit here in the tailstock of the lathe, and I've got the back gear engaged, so we turned it down way low. I got to get some oil on there though.
What?
I forgot to lock the tailstock. I was wondering why it's not doing anything. So I gotta lock this, that would help. There we go.
Did you go all the way through?
Almost.
Your drill is slipping.
Just a little bit. That just stopped. Oh. Ah. Bummer. It was almost through. Let me try to reseat this. I need to reach that hammer. Well, that's annoying. I think it's through though.
Yeah, I think it went through.
When it breaks through, it hangs up.
Yeah, it broke through.
Yeah, looks like it. We'll just see if we can't get it to go in one more time and break that burr, that chip off. If I have to, I'll deburr it with something else. But I think that's actually because the diameter's small inside there. The diameter changes. See that? It's a different diameter down inside there.
Yeah,
So, gonna have to see. Hopefully that's, I didn't realize that. Hopefully that's still gonna be big enough to fit over our piece. Alright, so after all of that, it turns out that there's a smaller diameter on the inside here that won't clear this. And since we already know I don't have a boring bar to take care of that, we notice that this sleeve right here is pressed onto this part. So I'm hoping that that smaller diameter is part of this. So we're going to try and push this out of this and just use this sleeve. See if this is going to come out nice.
holding it down.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. Yep, that's the smaller diameter we saw. What's the matter?
Wait, we can flip it
This,
around.
yeah, this side's better. See, that'll cover that. All right.
So we just need that. It's a perfect fit.
Right. So now we could take this and make sure there's no chips
I feel in there.
right there.
I've got
We don't want any chips
flying in
to get
there.
into that bearing. That would be very bad.
Chips like the TV show.
All right. So slow and easy.
Doing it
Yeah,
slowly.
keep going.
Putting no force on it.
That must be it. Must be all the way.
And that was all the trouble.
Yeah, exactly. So there we go. All right. So now this would go in here like this, but we've got a gasket that's going to go on here, and we've got to seal this with some gasket sealer too.
And we
to
need
make
this
it,
thing.
And we need this thing. So what we'll do next time, we'll do this next time. what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make you something to replace this doohickey that went in here.
Yeah, couldn't you just put this in there? Silicone around it?
That's what we call a hack job.
So?
So no, we're not doing that. Okay. What I was gonna maybe do is cut this double nipple off into 2 pieces. Actually, probably just cut this barb part off and stick this, make a hole in this, and cement this into this maybe.
Whenever you can do that.
But this is a little large. See, I think the nipple that went in here was actually smaller. So, we're not going to do that today. Well, this morning I was going to work on fixing this adapter and making a new one of these little adapter things here. My plan was I was going to take this plastic double nipple, pipe nipple that I have, cut off 1/2 of these barbs, leave this solid piece right here, and see if I can't. I was going to drill this out so that I could get this to go in here and glue this into this. And that would leave me a nipple to attach a pipe to. But I was looking at this really closely and actually went to cut this. And that's when I noticed that this was moving, and then looked at it really closely and could see glue. And then realized that as I pushed on this, I could break the glue bond. And then notice the same thing on the other side. And figured out that what this actually is this is actually just a rubber hose that I could pull right out. So this is the remnants of the hose. This is actually all that I need. So we could put the bike back together, and then I just need to find a length of hose this diameter, stick it in here, and just super glue it in place. But I'm not going to glue the hose in now because I have no idea how long this hose is going to need to be, because I don't know where it routes to yet. We'll figure that out later. But for now, at least I could put this in, and we can continue with the reassembly of the crankcase. Alright, so here's the gasket that came out of the cheap Chinese gasket set that I got online. There's an alignment pin right here. It's actually a sleeve because there's a bolt that goes through that. And there's another one that goes here that's actually in the cover. So I'm going to transfer it from the cover to here. That way I don't have to fight getting this gasket to stay in position. And then also these tabs here on the gasket, I'm going to cut them off because they serve no purpose and they're actually kind of getting in the way. Because there's no sealing that happens right here. The sealing basically happens just in this area right here. Nothing past this. You can see all the dirt.